So today I'm going to be showing you how to leverage Snow Atlas's core capabilities. What does this mean? Well, Snow Atlas is designed to help keep the organization audit ready, reduce compliance and risk through automation and visibility. So how does Snow Atlas do this? Well, the first step is real-time compliance positioning. So how do we get to this point? This is via getting the data first of all into the tenant. And the couple options we have is number one, using the Snow Entry agent, which is able to collect application data, software data, as well as metering data and cloud application data. Alternatively, if you have alternative sources of data such as SCCM, ServiceNow, Intune, BigFix, or other such data sets, you can use the Snow Integration Manager to import these data as well as export it to these platforms. So, once your data is in the platform and you have added licenses, for example, as you can see here, 7-zip and Windows 11 Enterprise, Atlas will use these values as well as the application software and usage data to continuously monitor your effective licensing position to identify overassignment and underassignment in licenses. This ensures that you always are prepared for vendor audits without scrambling for your data. For example, coming to the overview, we have a quick view of what applications are used, how they are used, if they're used just a little bit or a lot. For example, if we come into here, we can see Oracle License 5 or Linux 5 has 2 installations and is used 2 times, meaning that both installations of this application are used and should be licensed fully by adding a license into the licensing tab. But if we reverse this order and filter on here, we can see that, for example, 7-zip V18, we have 8 installations but no metering data, which this could mean potential savings could be made if we have a license purchase for this, which I'll show later. In this case, it is to be advised that you do also validate and confirm with the user of the machine, but this also gives you an insight into the data set that this application might no longer be used or needs to be installed anymore. So a big question that you might have is, how does Atlas get to this point of having the list of applications and list of licenses? So as I mentioned about bringing in the data using the agent or a third-party connector using the Snow Integration Manager, the data once collected will come in as a .snowpack or a .inv file through the extender to the Atlas platform, and then we'll go through our automatic normalization and enrichment inventory data process, which will take all the raw data and put it through over 800,000 rules and applications to help normalize, sterilize the data, preventing duplicates and making it clear on application versions, such. What does this mean? It means you'll get improved application data assignment, helping to reduce chance of errors during audits and improving accuracy of the data sets. So, from this point, how does the system know how to calculate it? The system has a job called the compliance job, where this is run automatically, or you can trigger it, as we can see here, by clicking onto Home and clicking Recalculate Compliance, and this will trigger the job, which will means it will take all of the software normalized data, the usage, as well as the licenses, and then equate the compliance out of that. As we can see from the alert list on this page, it also gives you an insight into how many applications are installed, how many are not used, and how many require a license but do not have registered usage, potentially meaning you could have a number of savings, and this can be reviewed further by clicking into their alert. As we can see here, a number of installations, number of unused and used installations. As you can see here, 13 and 13, and none are used. But if we filter on this column, you might be able to see different values as such with the data sets. In our example, sadly, we do not have any to show, but this could be easily used to give you a great insight into how the applications may be used and unused and where you might have potential savings possible. Further to this, to review your compliance, come to the reports. Using the compliance report, compliance summary, you can come in here, filter on a manufacturer, for example. In our case, we're going to remove this filter and just click Show Report. And for example, we're going to use the application here, 7-zip. As you can see, we have a license total of 50. We only have 8 installations of this, meaning we are compliant by 42. Meaning we have 42 licenses that might not be required and could be an area of savings, potentially. So, a potential idea what you can do if you have specific applications or different information you'd like to be key monitored, you can create a Snow dashboard. For example, I'm going to create one for 7-zip. As we can see, put in the name, it gives us a blank slate to start off with. As you can see from the message here, click on the dots, click edit, and we can start adding widgets. For example, we click on the charts, and I want to know the compliance for 7-zip, and if we use the manufacturer name, Igor, click add widget, it starts filling in the data as we do it. Let's add some more key information, for example, applications, wildcard that, click add. And we can also add in, like we did on the Snow dashboard, add an alert list. For example, I would like to have all the alerts. And I would also like to cover potential agreements expiring as well for 7-zip. Click add. And as we can see, this fills out the data sets as we go. And then clicking save will save this dashboard. So now we have a quick overview into seeing how the data sets are coming in and how they look. For example, we can see compliance. We are over compliant and can save money as we saw in the compliance report. We can see how many versions are recognized, as well as we can see from here our agreements expiration dates. As we can see, one is expired, one has less than a month, and one has more than 6 months, meaning we're potentially fine in this aspect. With each one of these, we can come into click view data, and this will take us further into the report to be able to see all the individual information, such as deny listed and allow listed applications, and further so much from there. So another question you might have is you might have a special contract or deal with a manufacturer where select devices might be free, or you might not need to license them as standard. So what does this mean? A way of excluding or making it so these don't count against your compliance, you can come into administration and use our system called compliance exclusion. By using this, you can create an exclusion to limit and exclude these from the compliance calculation. For example, if we pick this and use 7-zip as our example, preview, we can see which application is covered. Next, we can select our computers. For example, I would like to select all of them. I can do this, or if you'd like to filter, you can use organization and other such filters. And we can see here that we have 8 items with this application, and that matches up to how many installations we have. And to make sure this actually takes effect, we click active and click save. So even though we've added this won't reflect right away. For it to reflect, we do need to hit recalculate compliance and wait for this to finish up its job first, for it to take effect, and for us to be able to see the outcome of this data set. For example, if we come back to our dashboard, click refresh, we can see we are over compliant. And if we go into here now, we can see we are completely covered by the coverage. And if you come back to the compliance report further, we can take a further insight into why this might be. If we want to filter this, for example, go to applications, licenses, 7-zip, wildcard, and click show report, giving us an insight into further details of why this might be covered and where it's not covered, and our compliance. And we can also go into the application itself, click onto compliance, and this will tell us APE had been excluded by manual exclusion, which is the compliance exclusion. If you want to go back to the report and we would like to save this, an option you could do is by creating a report, licenses, zip once more, click show report. You can click save report, zip, save as new, and click save. To note, these reports are per user and not shared. But what from here we can do now is if we come to here, we can see it as an ungrouped report. We can also schedule this to be sent to our email every day at 6 a.m., meaning we'll be able to get the latest outputs of the reports of the compliance for the 7-zip application each day, giving us a great insight into how our application data is doing, how our compliance is doing, and potentially see where areas we could be saving licenses and spending.